welcome back to Mission Reload Gaming. I'm Jack, and this is StarMade. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make some turrets. I'm going to show you the basics of how to make a turret, kind of like this, much more simplified. I've been watching a lot of videos on it, and most of them are overseas, and some of them are hard to hear, don't take offense, but I'm going to make another one. One more like this turret. It's small, simple, sleek, important, and as long as you have shields, it's decent. I did throw some shielding mods on there just because I've seen a bunch of them do that, because every time you throw down a couple more of these turrets, you add to your shield buff, which I think is fairly important. Alright, the first thing you need to do is, let's see if I can rotate. Okay, we're not going to do it down here because the screen's kind of weird. Okay, let's go back on top. Alright, first things first, we're going to need to slap down a turret axis. So I slapped one of these down, and the double arrows are pointing forward. It doesn't really matter which direction those things are pointing, as long as it's consistent. I try to do consistency wherever possible, so all of mine I slapped down going towards the front of the ship. Alright, next thing we need to do is drop a ship module. And this is kind of like just name it something, because every ship has to have a unique name, so... who cares? And it's going to pop into existence. Alright, now, first thing we're going to do is pop into it. And then we're going to need a rail docker. I don't know what the difference between those are. Okay, those are my counterclockwise rail dockers. It's not what I need. There we are, rail docker. Now, this is kind of this is vitally important because this is going to attach to that, and I would like try to keep these usually. Depends on how you're doing a turret, but I like this design. I want to put the ship bit in the back. Now what this does is when we go back into flight mode, go to rail docker, weapons, rail docker, dock it there. What this looks like now is this. Basically allows us to do the x-axis? Yes, x-axis. Now, so we got this movement down. So now we need to figure out how we're going to do the second movement, which is the up and down movement. Alright, so this is where it becomes kind of fun. Let us pull out... do we have any heavy armors? I do. Only 8. Okay, well... usually... I've seen a lot where this look right here. Just a one-arm bit sticking out. And then we need another turret rail axis. And okay, now we need another core. X again. And voila, another core. Always try to realign it so you kind of know which way is forward on these. Now, I've heard that sometimes you want the bottom core to be like this, and then you want the top core, since it's going to go up and down like this, to be up. I'd rather have both of them like this so far. So far I've seen it work really well. It doesn't seem to have any problems. If anyone can tell me why it's better to have it that way, please, I would love to hear it. I am not adverse to listening. But for a simple turret, we now need this to mount to that. We're going to follow this direction. Alright, up and down. Left and right's not working. Huh. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it's because I'm holding Alt because to talk. Ha! Alright, as you can see, it works very well. Now, so this is what a turret looks like, essentially. Very boring and awkward. Okay. There are other things you can do. You can put that arm, or the turret docker on the back side of here. It all depends on what you're mounting and how much swing you want. If you want to be able to a 90-degree angle arc up straight, you'll have to make sure that the back end of this can sweep down and around like this. That is the only real factor of how tall you want your arm. Now, if you were to do a different type where you can make it really small, you can make it like one tall like this, and then pop into the real dock on the back and have an arm coming off the side. It's really tiny. However, hard to armor. You can't put any armor. Basically, it would rely just on your shields. And from what I've seen in this game so far, you can't just rely on shields unless you're utterly massive. Of course, the bigger you are, the more guns people have. Alright, this is just going to be a simple little gun turret just to explain the whole. I'm going to slap that on the bottom here because it apparently takes up a little bit of space. Okay, so there is the turret gun computer. Let's put down a barrel. And let's see here. Barrel. Ta-da! And essentially you have a gun. Now, obviously they get a lot more confusing than this, and one thing I'm going to immediately do that everyone basically should do from what I understand, because you're not going to be flying out of your ship to jump into it, you need a Bobby AI. These things are wonderful. It makes anything you fly a drone. You slap one of those on, click on it, you tell it you're a turret, aim at select a target. Oh, so once you jump out of the turret, you can then click on it and hit active. Now what this does basically is tell it that anytime you're in your ship and you go and hit F on something, and you can start seeing all the information on it, it will start shooting. And then you have to hit F off in the middle of the distance to clear it. See, watch, it turns white and then green again. This is very important because I ended up shooting my friends and couldn't tell myself how to stop, because I was trying to click on them again to turn it off and it didn't work. Yeah, that was fun. So, just to prove a point, while I'm thinking about it, you can have secondary and tertiary slots. Your tertiary slot will be for a type of weapon damage you would like to do. You can throw an EM computer in here, or a piercing computer, or a bunch of different types, explosive I think as well. Now, and then you have to add modules to give you more percentage. It'll tell you a percentage of how much damage or how much explosion it's doing. Your secondary slot, so what you can do if you want a different alternate gun type, I'll show you. Pew, pew, pew. Okay. Now, to make it a different type of gun, you throw down a second cannon computer, and then its own set of barrels. Then we go back to the weapons menu, and now you see we have total size, main size. What you do is you grab one of these and you drop it in the green, and all of a sudden total size 8, main size 4, 100% from 4 blocks. It means you're getting 100% of the bonus. So what you need is to get the 100% of the bonus is literally the same amount of main guns and quote-unquote secondary guns. Now all of a sudden you get something like this. You have an automatic gun. If you want a shotgun, I think that takes a missile attachment. Yes. I actually have one of those right over here. And it's using a combination of missiles and guns, and it does this. every time you get in and out of a turret, you need to return on the Bobby AI. Well, I would love to go into more detail in this episode. However, I'm still learning all the things you can do with guns. I know if you put a beam with a beam, you get a longer range. If you put a beam with a turret, or I mean with cannons, you get longer ranges. You put them with put beams with missiles, they go further. If you put missiles with missiles, you get tracking missiles. And then you have your tertiary slot, which does all sorts of things where you can make your missiles do EM damage or piercing or explosive. Yeah, no, there is almost unlimited differences in what you in things you can make. So we will be unraveling those mysteries as we go along in the game. I just felt like that this was necessary to show people because this is very important to the game. I think this is what sets this game apart from most other games, like Space Engineers. You really can't do this in Space Engineers. You can make dumbfired, you can make kind of a tracking missile. They can only track for like 50 meters or whatever, unless you get like the advanced sensors from like a mod. Yeah, it's really hard. Or you can also make gravity guns and whatnot too. But they're not as great. I love Space Engineers. I've played a lot of it. I haven't got any of it recorded. I may pull out some of my more cooler devices. I've actually made a navigating robot that I put on a missile, and that worked out fairly decently. It was kind of a last-ditch effort to missiles, so if you fired it near a hull, as it was going by, it would be like, ooh, look, a hull, and ram into it. So you could fire it near, and you wouldn't have to make it a direct shot. But anyway, this game makes it where your guns can scale to the size of your ship. The problem with Space Engineers is you would have to put a million missiles and turrets on it, and you just slow down the game. Of course, this game has its own problems with that, but weapon system building is something that I really, really enjoy, and I believe that this is what really sets this game apart. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this, guys, and if you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments. Any other things you would like me to explain better, I will really try to do my best.